raven has stopped singing. Is she gone? What? Righto, my lord.
Ready for the Blitzkrieg.
The Emperor shows us the way. It'll be built in a jiffy. Let's get this dance of death started. Construction underway, Commander.
Yes, yes, yes.
Shipyard completed. Your unit will soon be ready.
The best way to see Rivellon is through the crosshairs of my double barrel. Big guy coming through.
Construction in progress.
You rang?
All is ours for the taking.
Wall factory completed. Oh my, invisible transports. They could land anywhere. Acknowledged. Juggernaut sent to purpose. Nothing will stop me. Acknowledged. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander.
Big guy coming through. Of course, my lord. We fight for freedom.
Unit is being manufactured, Commander. It'll be built in a jiffy. Warming up the cannons. Juggernaut set to purpose.
Hail and kill. Cover me with death if I should fail.
Population depleted.
Affirmative. Unit is being manufactured, Commander. Unit is being manufactured, Commander. Trooper ready to march. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. They're shooting back at us. Acknowledged. There's 13. Everybody knows a lead gun. Affirmative.
We're getting pinned here.
All right, all right. Destruction is imminent. Never trust doctors or patients. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. Sure, there's an interesting case. Warming up the cannons.
Ready for the Blitzkrieg.
There is no reason to doubt your insight, sir. Reinforcements requested. I will stand until my last breath. That's impossible, Commander.
Commander. You know we dwarves will do anything that benefits the economy and thereby the Empire. That is to say, you. One of our most lucrative enterprises is the smoke stick industry. People love them. But there are so-called researchers at so-called universities, blasted elves, that say our wonderful tobacco products harm one's health. Nonsense! Our own research proves the exact opposite. So obviously, these elves are incompetent. They should have their government grants revoked, and their publications should be tossed in the fireplace.
Commander, we elves do smoke the pipe from time to time, but always in moderation. People tend to puff smoke sticks all day long, though, and our research indicates many of those that do, sooner or later, fall dreadfully ill. Falstaff wants to suppress these facts for the sake of profit. But what about public health?
Before I became an undead, Commander, gods be blessed that I did, I knew people who sucked in more smoke than air, and none of them ever attained the sacred perpetuity of the bone. I can but conclude the Seven do not favor smoke sticks.
Commander, it doesn't exactly take academic research to catch at first glance that these smoke sticks are vile, lurid inventions fit for neither man nor beast. They bring you great wealth, that I realize, but perhaps wealth does not excuse their existence.
I knew those things were bad for you, Commander. I knew it. First time I smoked a smoke stick, I coughed up such a storm a tornado alert was issued.
This is horrifying, Commander. People will be swayed by that elven rubbish. Sales will plummet. Revenues will be lost. We stand to lose heaps of gold. You and me both. Oh, I think I'm going to be sick.
You'll be glad to know, Commander, that I followed your advice. Despite the tactless treatment I received from Lord Larracher, I was the very picture of gallantry at a dinner thrown in my honor by darling Elizabetha, during which I amazed them all by my command of elf etiquette in the ancient tongue. As the evening drew to a close and the ladies retired to the music room, the Lord poured me a brandy and apologized for his ill-chosen words uttered during previous occasions. I'm now quite at home when I visit the estate, enwrapped in a friendly warmth, weirdly welcomed by my cold-blooded self. Thus, I am the one most amazed, for never would I have thought myself capable of enjoying the company of others, let alone non-lizards. Love conquers all, if you'll forgive the platitude.
A toast to triumph, Commander, and another. As far as I can tell, our enemies are quaking firmly in their boots. Good sign as any, really. About whom, Commander? Bit stuck up, ain't she?
Edmund surprised us all, Commander. If he could win the approval and even friendship of surly Lord Larracher, he must have behaved. Behaved like an elf. Quite wonderful.
had any doubts, Commander, they have been alleviated. Lady Ophelia, may the Seven grace her, has become a shining example to us all. To be undead is to be larger than life, forever.
Comfort me, my light and dark. For though I stand before thee in golden splendor, cheer flees before me like a deer wild in the woods. I but want to pet it and take comfort in its beauty. Yet with each step I take, it moves a bit farther from my sight, fearing me to be a hunter, the knife held perfidiously behind my back. Perhaps you think me thankless, my love. I have, after all, cheated the gnawing cancer that was aiming for my very soul. But somehow I feel more disembodied than ever. A stranger in a strange land, certain in the knowledge that she will never be at home amongst its alien landscapes. A perennial drifter, entrapped in its wastes. Let him plague me with 1,000 sermons. If this can be done, he can take his deluded misgivings and scatter them to the winds. So much of the self lies in semblance. If a woman's aspect I can parallel, I can truly play her part, and at length, even in a strange land, my spirit can tranquilly settle.
So you've managed to turn your wife into a being of pure gold, have you, Commander? I must confess, not even a dwarf has gone quite so far. I am impressed. Indeed, I am. And a bit turned on by her, to boot.
You find me in a reflective mood, Commander. The bottom of a wine glass can serve as a gypsy's crystal, you see. Gaze upon it long enough, and times long past come parading afore one's eyes. As you can imagine, I was an exceptionally gifted child that outranked his schoolmates to such a degree I started to shun them, for their imbecility insulted me. The academic world, too, quickly discovered and quickly discarded, had precious little to offer. Clueless they all were, professors and students alike, like flies bumping up against glass. No, it was in the army that I found my true calling, for the enemy I defeat on the battlefield is defeated forever. Those I outwit in combat die. Such is the triumph of intellect, and with each new victory my detest for all that is non-lizard grows. They call it bigotry. I call it logic. And yet things have come to pass aboard the Raven that shed new light on my views. A light that reveals they may have been somewhat distorted. I do believe I have mellowed to a degree, having seen sides of all these other creatures that actually show merit in their own peculiar ways. More often than not, it was your forcing my hand in directions contrary to my instincts that lay at the basis of this epiphany. So I suppose a word of thanks is in order. To be honest, I don't know if I'll ever truly regard an elf or a dwarf as my equal. Yet no longer will I maintain their worth to be less than that of an owl's pellet, which perhaps is a first step in the right direction. But enough of this introspection, Commander. Let us fill our wine glasses anew.
Your latest victory.
Under my rule, you'd be given the Cross of Bravery for that last action, Commander. Well done.
trail of smoke and flame. Playtime is fun, but when does the killing begin? Every move is a step closer to victory, my lord. Faster, faster! I want to go faster! I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. That's impossible, Commander. Faster, faster! I want to go faster! I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. Playtime is fun, but when does the killing begin? Watch out for enemy air mines. Their bomber balloons can now deploy them. I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. I need a target, quickly. Get ready to be impressed, my lord. I need a target, quickly. No use in hiding. Enemy bomber balloons can detect cloaked units now. Enemy ironclads can deploy sea mines now. Enemy juggernauts enjoy in-fighter protection as of now. Enemy juggernauts can fire in bunker busters. Better dig in. Enemy juggernaut captains have been spotted with imp binoculars, Commander. They're toast! Enemy ironclads can see right through our tricks. No use cloaking in their vicinity. Enemy ironclads are even harder to sink now that they've installed defensive weaponry. Look, my lord! No hands! Whoa! Point me at something that can go boom! Look, my lord! No hands! Whoa! Every move is a step closer to victory, my lord. Look, my lord! No hands! Whoa! Every move is a step closer to victory, my lord. Look, my lord! No hands! Whoa! Playtime is fun, but when does the killing begin? I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. Take their land, take their fortune. Look, my lord, no hands. Whoa! Another kill on the counter. I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. Playtime is fun, but when does the killing begin? Take their land, take their fortune. Look, my lord, no hands. Whoa! Every move is a step closer to victory, my lord. Get ready to be impressed, my lord. trail of smoke and flame.
Accursed be that hothead of a Henry, Commander. I'd rather swallow needles than endeavor a constructive discussion with him ever again. You know what he's like on the field. Always must he fly solo. Always must he go charging in like a bull in heat. Ridiculous. If he's thinking at all about what he's doing, it's with his brain that dangles, not deducts. The man's a menace, a danger to himself and others.
By all the gods, real or imaginary, devils take my manhood if that Catherine creature isn't a bigger bitch than a mountain-sized mastiff. So what if I wage war by my own rules and care little for her so-called team tactics? That's no reason to question my ability. She's lucky she has tits to prove she's not a man, or I'd have beaten her more savagely than a dwarf is anvil. Besides, what's the use of standing shoulder to shoulder when you know the fella next to you will run once the swords start ringing and the blood begins to flow? Aye, that's what happened the day I lost my arm. I stood my ground, alone. And the rest of the Emperor's generals, they outran their wives and their litter trying to escape. So much for loyalty. So much for duty. I find it a lot easier to tell the benefit of the doubt it can go shag itself. But if you insist, I'll give the others a chance. Though I'm sure they'll prove to be a bigger disappointment than looking for a brothel in an elf town.
How delightfully entertaining to see Catherine and Henry exploding in rage over a strategic disagreement. Like children they are, vainly trying to prove to one another they have the better toy. Of course, none of the two realizes they could argue till the dwarves grow tired of gold and never reach the tiniest epiphany. To wage war requires a distinct brand of genius. Where they are found wanting, I am found abounding.
Accursed be that...
go boom! I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. Every move is a step closer to victory, my lord. I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. Faster, faster! I want to go faster! You and I think alike, my lord.
Enemy shamans can cripple our troops. Hardly fair. Enemy imp fighters are targeting our engines, Commander. They'll slow us down. Stay away from enemy shamans. They'll charm our troops, turn them against us.
I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. Who requested fireworks? I need a target, quickly!
Enemy imp fighters have been plated with iron. They'll certainly be harder to shoot down.
Standing by, impatiently, take their land, take their fortune! Faster, faster! I want to go faster! They're toast! You and I think alike, my lord. I need a target, quickly! They're toast! Get ready to be impressed, my lord.
Right, Commander, you've upset us imps greatly by cancelling Project Megabomb, but we are not the kind to despair for long. In fact, we want to present you with Project Super Soldier. Sounds like something you could use, right? So let's start experimenting on fetuses. Yep, you heard me correctly. We need to study various types of genetic engineering processes pronto. Soon, babes will be born as super soldiers and grow to maturity in no time.
You can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. An expression we lizards are not very fond of, bred as we are in the shell. I can therefore assume the phrase, "you can't make super soldiers without messing up wombs," would be equally unpopular among elves and dwarves, Commander. To put it delicately, Trinculo is an utter loon, and I hope you'll tell him as much.
I think I prefer his bomb over these mutants Trinculo is so hell-bent on manufacturing, Commander. War machines I'm all for. War monsters, not so much.
Let's see. Fetal experimentation. No. Thank you, Commander.
Super soldiers sound good on paper, Commander, but the methods to make them are bizarre and frankly unnatural. Budding life should be protected, not subjected to sordid trials.
Not again, Commander. No to Project Megabomb, no to Project Super Soldier. You're determined to see the first ever depressed imp, aren't you? Because you're getting there.
Our victory was so
Commander, so I took your counsel to heart and decided I should give my fellow generals a chance to prove they are worthy of my esteemed friendship and perhaps even trust. What better test I can put them to, I ask myself, than the holy game of poker? See who's shrewd, behold who bluffs, descry who dares and when. So that's what I did. Rounded them up and played from dusk till dawn. You were right. They're not a bad bunch once you get to know them. Obviously, I left their purses emptier than Yorik's skull, which does do wonders for my temper. Can't rightly say if that endeared me to them, but I'm sure as hell would like to see more of them once this month's wages come in.
Next time Henry wants to play cards, I'll tell him I'd rather tongue kiss a rattler. Such an unrefined game, really. The pastime of booze hounds and imbeciles. Quite unfit for a man of my refinement. To change the subject entirely, could I receive my wages a bit earlier this month? I've had some unexpected expenses.
Construction underway, Commander. It'll be built in a jiffy.
All is ours for the taking.
Is that a tree? Well, not anymore. It'll be built in a jiffy. War factory completed.
The best way to see Rivellon is through the crosshairs of my double barrel.
Construction in progress. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander. Unit is being manufactured, Commander. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander.
Cover me with death if I should fail.
Shipyard completed. Your unit will soon be ready. Up we go.
I will drench the torn banner in blood.
Go on, give me a target.
Big guy coming through. Death to all ones.
We'll crush them one leg at a time.
Hail and kill. Ready for the blitzkrieg.
Construction underway, Commander.
Yes.
We'll make them scream. That's impossible, Commander. Enemy streams can shield their allies. Better take them out before they can do so. Destruction is imminent. Affirmative. Equipment citadel completed.
I've got big guns and I cannot.
That's impossible, Commander.
Yeah, I love traveling.
Reinforcements requested. Option. It's impossible, Commander.
The best way to see Rivellon is through the crosshairs of my double barrel.
Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander. evaporating. We sail the seas of destruction.
This is sacrilege, pure and simple, Commander. First, Ophelia becomes the very ideal of undead grace, only to cover herself in the stinking, putrid, piecemeal flesh of mortals. You are to blame for this monstrosity, Commander. May you incur the Seven's wrath.
My world and stars. I have been dying for you to see me. Am I not becoming quite exquisite? A real woman in the making? No longer bare metal to behold. I am being fashioned anew with most delicate care. When a young beauty is called to the Seven, her beauty is not yielded to earth or flame, but employed to dress me in the finest garment ever to have been sewn. With each fine spun gesture of the needle, I take another stride towards perfection. The long secret dream is coming true. Not only to live, but to resemble the living. The journey towards death is at an end, my love. Let my kin curse me if they wish it. For you and I, there is only bliss and perpetual passion. They must have been so beautiful. Those whose cheeks I've charted.
Lady Ophelia seems to have taken a turn for the worst, Commander. I mean, a golden skeleton is a golden skeleton. A collection of cold chunks of meat held together by bare thread, on the other hand. Glad you're the one with marital duties here, not I.
What a win you scored, Commander!
Triumph begets triumph, it seems.
I may have derided the imps before, Commander, but I must admit their war machines are marvels of engineering.
How much more base and depraved can a soul get when it seeks the death of a child to further its interests? Henry and I may not always see eye to eye, but if I can save his daughter, I will do what I can. And Scarlet feels the same.
Commander, we have anxiously awaited your return, for our spies brought dire news. Some obscure nobleman by the name of Drury has ordered top assassins to kidnap and kill Henry's daughter Anne. Her death would crush him, and that's exactly how that prick tries to get the attention of our enemies. By robbing you of one of your generals, he seeks the same post in their armies. You know there'd be no stopping Henry. He sped off home the instant he heard the news, so now Catherine and I would like your permission to go after him. If he has to face those backstabbing bastards, we want to face them with him. Yes, Commander! We'll hack them to pieces and be back in time for happy hour.
Henry has a spot of daughter trouble, has he? These teenage girls, they're all the same. Scarlet and Catherine actually want to abandon ship and rush to her rescue. Can you imagine? At least I have the sense of duty to remain here in the epicenter of your power, where generals are truly needed. Well, there's that, and the fact that I just can't be bothered.
Oh, my light and love. All the world is color. My poor, poor brethren. Alive in death alive. Their sight is black and white, therefore their souls are too. But I have seen the universe spread its palette like a peacock proudly parading its plumage.
What a lovely shade of pink you are, dragon, when you have the guise of a lowly human. What a tease you are to show those long, luscious veins that run along your hands and the neck. Delicious.
Your generals are out of control, Commander. Now, I appreciate they stood together to rescue Henry's daughter, but when the end result has a tally of 2 incinerated buildings, a ruined hall of industry, and a few dozen dead or wounded, it seems to me they were a tad too enthusiastic. They may be used to battlefields alone these days, but we do not tolerate such mayhem in our cities. Someone needs to pay.
Dear, oh dear. It seems my esteemed colleagues made a mess of things. But why blame them, really? Takes those blockheads of councillors, of course, not to know any confrontation with hardened assassins is bound to leave a trail of, a variety of things. Blood, ash, and general destruction come to mind. Perhaps I should have gone with them after all. Sounds like they had a jolly old time.
We did it, Commander. Anne has been rescued. Hardest fight I ever fought, but it was worth it. I'm sorry to say, though, those damned assassins spared not the citizens that stood in their way. Many died, but not by our blades.
Good to see you, Commander. I've been meaning to thank you for the role you've played in the rescue of my dear Anne. 'Twould have been another story entirely had Catherine and Scarlet not come to my aid. Wonders of women. You should have seen us. And we reached before those bloody assassins did. But they beset us in far greater numbers than we could have foreseen. They used imp-throwing bombs, lizard arrows tipped with poison, dwarf axes that could cut through steel, but we held them off time and again. We 3 duelists, shoulder to shoulder. Of course, there was a touch of collateral damage, I suppose. One of those imp devices rolled right into an undead kindergarten. But really, those skeletal scamps are already dead to begin with, right? I thought it was rather funny. A shower of bones, it was. Came clattering down like dry hail. Is that a reason to be a killjoy and scream bloody murder? 'Cause that's what those gods-be-damned councillors of yours are doing. They demand restitution and the likes. I've half a mind to demonstrate what functionalities come with this arm of mine, and where they can put them. I suppose not. So what happens next? I have to pay a fine or something? Do community service for the undead? Air out some crypts and polish their coffins? Bah! By every demon ass in hell, the things we do for our children, Commander.
We accomplished our mission, Commander, but I shudder to think at what cost.
7 be merciful when your generals descend unto our cities, Commander. When they paint the town red, they transcend the mere figure of speech. We undead have children to mourn because of their escapades, and we demand hefty reimbursement.
Commander, if we elves think something is of supreme importance, it is the happiness of all people. For those with rejoicing hearts do no evil and look upon the world with kindness. We also believe they will fight harder for their country if pressed. For a new overlord may not hold their welfare in high regard. Clearly, this will benefit you in times of need. So, how can we increase the happiness of a huge part of your citizenry? By allowing them to form unions so they can stand up for themselves better. What do you say?
Typical elven wishy-washy nonsense. Unions indeed. Nothing but organized trouble, led by work-shy ne'er-do-wells. Don't you fall for Oberon's tricks, Commander.
It's not that the idea of unions offends me, Commander, but in times of war, we just cannot afford the side effect unions tend to bring about. Strikes, protests, you know the sort of thing. No, I advise against Oberon's proposal.
Frightfully bad idea, Commander. You allow unions, and before you know it, concerns about working conditions are raised. They'll shut down every arms factory we own. Won't make us imps any happier, that.
Unions? What blasphemy. People shouldn't emancipate themselves in factories. They should prostrate themselves before the gods in the Seven's glorious temples. Let the people organize and they'll suddenly make all sorts of silly demands. Advocate not happiness, Commander, but humility.
A triumph for the laborer. Let our enemies assail our lands now. People will fight for the liberties they have been granted, for they know slavery awaits if they do not.
Just fantastic. Another bloody nuisance to deal with. But if any of those deadbeats dare to strike in any of my mills, I'll set the dogs on them and shout, "Go for their necks!"
Fine. Throw caution to the wind. But will you still feel the same when the ammunition loaders rise in protest on the very day you want to invade another province?
Commander, such folly! You'll find out soon enough that if you give the riffraff a voice, it will only be used to carp, curse, and complain.
Oh, damn it, Commander. Only heathens join those filthy unions. They'll complain about donations to the Church of the Seven next. Is every 3 gold coins for every 10 they make really too much to ask?
I took a stroll in the sun today, my lord and love. Never could I have imagined the wonder that is to feel the light of life, find comfort on one's skin.
Those high and mighty councillors sure did a number on Henry, as if he's the one that caused so much trouble. Have they quite forgotten about Lord Drury's merry band of assassins? He's been asking me for a loan, you know, being robbed of his gold. Asked for quite a lot, actually. But I guess I can't rightly refuse him. A begging man is more agonizing to look upon than a begging dog.
General Henry got his comeuppance, Commander. I can only hope he'll reflect on his sentence with proper repentance and humility. Yet, knowing Henry, pigs will fly first.
A battle is often decided because of the initiative shown by field officers, and those dwarven commanders can rally their men like no other can.
Justice has been done under the all-seeing eyes of the mighty Seven. He who has cast down the bones of our brethren has himself been cast down into the dust. I didn't quite know what to make of Henry's attitude, though. I found myself paying for his whole trip back to ship. He kept going on and on about how sorry he was. Another drink, Yorick, to alleviate my guilt. Another drink, Yorick, in memory of those poor children. What could I do but pick up the tab?
It's over, Commander. I stood before a tribunal, was described as a maniac, a vandal, an arsonist, and even a murderer. But I bore it all with quiet dignity. My jaws clenched tighter than Prosper's arse. They took my land, my titles, what gold I had stored, but I stood in silence, not giving them the satisfaction of showing my rage. Quite a change from the hothead Henry you know and love, isn't it, Commander? 'Twas down to Catherine and Scarlet, you know. Never would I have let those bastards of councillors unleash their barrage of injustice over me had I not rested easily in the knowledge that thereby I was shielding the friends who came to my aid without as much as a thought for their own safety. My daughter came to no harm, and neither did my comrades in arms. All is well. Now, to toast them all with wine and beer, and again, and again. It'll have to be your treat, though, Commander. I'm penniless now, remember?
Ah, to be in the thick of battle. With you calling the shots, it's a joyride rather than a...
I took a stroll in the...
like the wind.
Sending them to another dimension.
It'll be built in a jiffy.
I'm the one being hunted here.
You're toast. My two balloons are bursting.
To uncharted lands. They won't even see me coming.
Looks like enemy zeppelins can unleash fire bats.
Okay.
Get us out of here, Commander!
Enemy zeppelins are cooking with gas. Mustard gas. That's impossible, Commander. Shipyard completed. Forge completed. What are your orders, my lord? We're out of recruits, Commander. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander.
On the trail.
Playtime is fun, but when does the killing begin? I need a target, quickly! Take their land, take their fortune! What's the medical emergency? Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. We sail the seas of destruction. Affirmative. Standing by, impatiently. Who requested fireworks? Faster, faster! I want to go faster! Unit is being manufactured, Commander.
You found me, did you?
What's the medical emergency?
No flying doctor's jokes, okay?
Destruction is imminent. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. Affirmative. Juggernaut set to purpose. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. I'll leave a trail of smoke and flame. We need more recruits, Commander. Unit is being manufactured, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. We're in a world of hurt here. That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander.
As far as the eye can see.
Where is the port in Port Side, sire?
Moving between the clouds.
Standing by, impatiently. That's impossible, Commander. Unit is being manufactured, Commander. It'll be built in a jiffy. We'll crush them one leg at a time. Construction in progress. I have no regrets, but please save me. We need more recruits, Commander. Construction underway, Commander. Trooper ready to march. Anti-ground turret completed. All factory completed. Anti-ground turret completed.
Come to have a chat, Commander. Just as well, for I've been meaning to have a word with the dragon myself. Remember when I told you about losing my arm and eye? How I lost it standing guard for your father, an emperor unworthy of his throne? Well, telling you got me thinking, as well as drinking. And here's the conclusions I've come to. I was different then, you see. And not just because I was more man and less machine. No. The day they hacked me up good, there was much more that I lost. In that arm lay stored loyalty and duty. In that eye, trust and friendship. Out the door, just like that. But lately, they've been clawing at it, wanting to come back in. We've got a fine bunch of generals here, Commander. And there's Edmund too, but let's not open that particular can of worms. No, it's the girls, Scarlet and Catherine. Guess I've never come closer to women without wanting to get in their pants. I respect them as officers, I really do. And I think that should history repeat itself, they would stand by me as we make our last stand. Not run like the mongrels that still stain my memories. If there's trust to be had, I think they've earned mine, Commander. As of you. The sins of your father need not be yours. You have my sword and my friendship too. There! Now you know. So enough of this sentimental elf talk and let's drink! To us! To the Raven! To victory!
What would you inquire of me?
Sup, Commander?
Commander?
I took a stroll in the... What a wonder it is to experience the boundless tears of taste, the ceaseless subtleties of sense. A rose's fragrance may uplift one's soul, savor a strawberry, nectar from the earth, and the quintessence of life quakes in gentle vibration. To be, my love, to be.
Commander, thanks to your generous approval, the unions we elves sought to found have indeed been created. As true spokesmen for their fellows, union men have been quite vocal in their struggle to increase working conditions and the general standards of life. Their greatest complaint is that very many laborers receive only the most minimal of wages, and I think it is only fair to copiously increase them. For remember, Commander, defend the populace's prosperity and happiness, and they in turn will defend your empire valiantly in its hour of need.
And I warn you, Commander. I told you that Union filth would make all sorts of silly demands. Wealth leads to indulgence, a wicked vice indeed.
There we go. There we have it. The rat's out of the cage, and it's biting at every ankle it can find. Who do these workmen think they are? Princes of the realm? We pay them more than they're worth already.
I'll restate my previous opposition to Oberon's line of proposals, Commander. In times of peace, they would perhaps be quite proper. But during these times of war, they are no more than frivolous.
Cannon-shaped custard, Commander. This is a bit rich, isn't it? There's millions of laborers in the land. Give them more than their daily copper and they'll drain the cabinet's coffers in no time.
Bravo, Commander! And believe me, the extra cost your kingdom will incur shall pale in comparison with the boost to morale extra wages will give the people.
Enact this outrage, Commander, and you'll turn every laborer into a lord of the manor. And if there's something lords of the manor detest, it's bloody labor.
Commander, you know me to be a wise woman, and it is therefore highly insulting that you would turn down my advice iterated twice in a row. My concern is the good of the Empire, which should be yours as well.
Dear me, I do hope you know what you're doing, Commander. Shower the plebs with prosperity and their masters will become paupers. You're turning the tables just like that, but I liked my seating arrangements as it was, thank you very much.
Bravo, Commander!
Once again, the elves impose their vices on society, and once again, you follow suit. Does it not irk you, Commander, to...
Oh, my light and love. All the world is color. My poor, poor brethren. Alive in death alive. Their sight is black and white. Therefore their souls are too. But I have seen the universe spread its palette like a peacock proudly parading its plumage. Like a poet's words, they wash clean and clear the windows of mind and heart. Behold beyond, newfound beauty.
Drench their torn banner in blood. Construction in progress. It'll be built in a jiffy. Construction in progress. Cover me with death if I should fail. Construction underway, Commander. Construction in progress. Our glory foretold. That's impossible, Commander. Good as dead. Point me at something that can go wrong! Mortar turret completed. Big guy coming through. Our glory foretold. Mortar turret completed. Wall factory completed. Big guy coming through. Construction underway, Commander. Shipyard completed. Our glory foretold. It'll be built in a jiffy. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander. Your unit will soon be ready. You and I think alike, my lord. All is ours for the taking. We need a target, quickly! Stop them, dead in their tracks. Bombs ready to drop. Mortar turret completed. Juggernaut primed and ready. Unit is being manufactured, Commander. The machinery is strong, but not that strong, Commander. Yes. Death hungers. That's impossible, Commander. Construction in progress. To the hostile waters. We sail the seas of destruction. Destruction is imminent. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander. Recruitment Citadel completed. Let death extend its grasp. The unit will soon be ready. Recruits to turn into a dragon, Commander. Warming up the cannons. impossible, Commander.
I hear Trinculo's daughter is about to be married. He's...
Smouldering muskets, Commander. So kind of you to...
Commander, a matter has arisen that impels me to seek your... It's these horrid arranged marriages. Long have they been a thorn in my side, and now one of your own counselors, that toad of a Trinculo, is giving away his daughter like she was a pretty piece of furniture to some decrepit old duke because the alliance will benefit him financially. The girl's 12, for 7's sake. And that grey goat she must marry 100 if he's a day. It's detestable. It's vile. But oh, why am I even talking to you? You're just the same. Picked the princess that sat on the biggest pot of gold and... Well, I've had it. That girl stuck in your chamber is beyond saving, but Trinculo's daughter is not. Impede this wedding, Commander, right this instant. Excellent. And add age restrictions as well. If parents try to coerce her, a 20-year-old can stand up to them better than a mere girl. Well... Bravo, Commander. Your new law regarding the requirement of girls' and women's consent to marry has caused a wave of enthusiasm among the populace. The romantic ruler is your latest sobriquet. Ironic, wouldn't you say? Ironic, yes. For of course you yourself haven't given up on your politically picked wife and went forth in pursuit of love.
Oh, my light and love.
Commander, under your rule, workers are finally treated with respect. There are unions. There has been an increase in wages. But at the end of the day, they still labor like slaves from dawn till dusk. This must be remedied. I therefore propose we institute the 8-hour day, which includes a proper break for lunch. I trust I needn't repeat what wonders this will work regarding your populace's happiness and the enjoyment of their lives. Think how hard they'll fight on your behalf to defend their liberties.
So, first these workers want to earn more wages, and when they get them, they want to work less hours, yet maintain the increase. This is utter madness!
So once more, Oberon proposes measures that might jeopardize the war effort during times of war. Here's hoping the third time I warn you will be the charm, Commander. Do not listen to the elf.
What hokum? Imps like to work from dawn till dusk. Just because the elves are lazy buggers doesn't mean we should be punished with extra leisure time.
First you allowed people to aspire wealth, the vice that leads to indulgence. And now the elves would add idleness to the list of sins. Idle hands make for the devil's tools, Commander, not the Seven's.
Commander, if you're paying people well to work like slaves, that just means you have the cold hard cash to indulge in slavery, and you are in fact quite willing to do so. How?
Elves would say it is the war machines we are constructing that are the true devil's tools, Commander, but they are heathen pacifists. War is a noble cause when you fight it for the Seven, for in its fires, souls are cleansed and sinners extinguished.
Dwarven will may be stronger than the proverbial camel's back, Commander, but this last straw might have broken it nonetheless. Thank heavens you decided against it.
Wisdom prevails in the end. We all work tirelessly to resurrect the peace. We lead by example. There will be time to lay down our burdens when every last war machine has been destroyed.
And there's an end to all that nonsense. 8-hour days indeed. They'll want holidays next.
Commander, I'll not pretend I'm naive enough not to know that where our armies go, regrettable misbehavior sometimes follows. But I had no idea as to the scale of the transgressions committed. Luckily, General Catherine caught a whiff of these unsavory practices and decided to fight them tooth and nail.
Ridiculous the trivialities General Catherine gets all hot and bothered about. So one or two of our own soldiers overstepped the line somewhat after taking yet another town or city. They fought to the death. They not allowed some R&R? A cuddle and a fondle with some local belle?
Commander, I have conducted a couple of surprise inspections of late to see firsthand how our ground troops are conducting themselves in newly conquered territories. The result is exactly what I had expected. Atrocious. Swarms of fire-spouting locusts wouldn't do as much damage as the average cohort. They pillage left and right, and what is worse, rape every woman and girl they can get their ruttish claws on. Most officers turn a blind eye, and those that don't get transferred behind the lines. But I took matters into my own hands, Commander. The first offenders have been court-martialed and hung for their offense. Touched one last time by angel lust, then limp and lethargic forever. So I shall, Commander. The harvest from the hanging tree will be plentiful this year.
You might find it strange hearing this from me, Commander, but I quite agree with Catherine. As far as women are concerned, the pleasure may lie in the chase and the kill, so to speak. But I don't take the hunting metaphor literally, whereas several soldiers do. To force oneself on a girl is detestable, and the men who do so should lose the weapon that's causing her misfortune.
We won a victory for...
Pestilence take me, Commander, if the vices of men aren't harder to stamp out than all the weeds in the wilderness. Where my inquisitors go, they wither. Where they leave, bloom anew in all their obscene glory. I merely try to protect women from the abject horrors that are rape and pillage, yet I find myself fighting a battle so uphill as to be vertical. To pinpoint the fundamental problem is easy. The army is run by men, for men. Now one can train a dog to behave, but men, lacking even canine cunning, one cannot. The solution to the problem is therefore equally easy. Replace them with women. I'm not even going to be unreasonable, Commander. I could have advocated mass sterilization, for instance. No. I merely demand that you sack half of the male officers and replace them with women. They'll run the army better no matter how, and they'll see to it that not quite dogs, aka soldiers, either behave or hang. And wherein lies that merit? Do they keep score of how many innocent lives they destroy by means of the sword, by fire, by assault? 50 points and you're made captain? 100 to be major? Wham bam, another tortured mom, and here's your colonel's rank? You disgust me, Commander. Your presence makes me wretch.
A battle is often decided.
Combat and...
What a
Oh, my light and
Commander, I know full well we need all of Maxos's strange new technologies to win the war, but their production is putting too great a strain on the environment. If, however, our war machines could be fabricated with environmentally responsible building materials, we may actually leave behind a world that was worth fighting for. Yes, this would increase production costs, but I'm also convinced these materials will improve the strength and efficacy of our vehicles.
Oberon can sit there and weep over a couple of dead trees and dead fish all day long if he wants, but in the meantime, we have a war to win.
I don't think ecology should be our prime concern at this time, Commander. It will take decades to undo the harm all these war machines have caused, but let us deal with these matters in times of peace.
Oberon's mad, Commander. New materials, new this, new that. It would cost a great deal of time and money to set it all up. And am I the only one who thinks a landscape filled with smoking factory chimneys and raging fires of industry is so much more beautiful than boring old woodlands and hills?
I feel at home, Commander, in a landscape of barren rock. Endless forests of dead trees. Our industry is doing its best to turn the world into an undead vision. So may the Seven damn Oberon, and damn his idiotic ideas.
Curses, Commander! Once more, our Green Mother must forfeit much-needed protection because safeguarding her well-being means we'd have to pull at the purse strings. Money. It's a plague upon mankind.
You disappoint, Commander. I understand Catherine's ideas may be wild of concept, but more often than not, there's wisdom hidden within. When we do nothing, nothing changes, and our soldiers still run amok, to put it mildly.
If you want something done well, you do it yourself. Even though I abhor expressing myself through platitudes, Commander, I am addressing a man after all, and must therefore use a turn of phrase of an unsophisticated nature. You rejected my quota of women in the army on the basis of a sophism you call the reason of merit. This gave me no other choice than to meet that reason, however fallible, and rise to its challenge. With the vast wealth still at my disposal from the days I was queen, I have founded a military academy that only women may attend. It will take time, but in due course their merits will become irrefutable, and they will slip into the ranks as officers of the realm. You may delay the inevitable, Commander, but you cannot stop it. I will have my way, and no sexist pig like you is ever going to stop me.
The army is such a sausage fest, Commander. Catherine had the right idea. Why in the blazes would you refute her ideas?
We won a victory for the...
Welcome back, Commander. One last time, let me welcome you back aboard the Raven. The Empire has been restored. Peace, briefly dethroned, follows in your wake. What three mighty men once set out to do, you have accomplished single-handedly. In the name of an entire world, in the name of delivered millions, I thank you. Long may our friendship last, and long may last your reign. He has been finally defeated, Commander. So many of his aspects you have destroyed that he is now but a shell, bereft of all powers. When I dismantle the Raven, him I shall banish to the abyss he came from, and with him, the last remaining traces of that vile traitor, the Architect. Your wife and all her wisdom I have sent out to locate the best and most beauteous spot in Rivellon, where we will build your castle. Then, a capital we'll build around your castle, and an empire around that capital. An empire that will stand for 1,000 years. But for your blessed realm to remain standing so long, we must destroy every last bit of demon technology, including this majestical Raven. It is a sad thing indeed when such wonders need to be undone, but we cannot trust the nature of man, or any of the others. Soon these machines will be but figments of the imagination, be like snippets of dreams that fade from memory upon waking. We cannot have it any other way. Give the word, dear dragon, and I shall commence to shape the world anew. By all means, Commander.
This moment has been so long in the making, Commander, that now the hour strikes, it seems almost unreal. And yet here we are. The war is over. We have won against unthinkable odds. Unlike some, I know full well what this victory means. How important it is to enact what you and Maxo set out to do. It's uncommonly brave to revert time, as it were, and undo the miracles of magic that brought us victory. Only a handful would understand how uncommonly wise this is as well. Such wisdom requires a lizard's mind, I do believe, abounding with primordial profundity, or at least a lizard's vision. You do possess both to a degree, though perhaps not as much as I had hoped. Still, I do not mean to put you on the spot, dear dragon. What you have accomplished outshines the political tribulations we had. And who is to say we shan't find you more accommodating in the future? We are but on the cusp of your illustrious career. Of that I am certain. For I am convinced that more than in the empire you won, your legacy will lie in the empire you will leave behind. It is my fondest desire it will be a realm in which all lizards will reside in freedom and happiness.
Commander, allow me to congratulate you. Not just from the bottom of my heart, but the deepest recess of my beer-soaked liver. More affectionately and sincerely, I cannot be. We've come a long way, and along the road, dwarf and dragon have become the stoutest of allies. Dare I say it? Friends. You, Commander, no, Emperor, will be a monarch to remember. A man whose memory will wear out untold ages. Rivellon is yours, one fair and square. So treat her well, for a mighty fine realm she is. But come, let's have a drink, you and I. We've earned it both. Today, no politics. Today, no war. Today, we raise our glass to Rivellon and to the dragon who secured her freedom.
Praise be, Commander. Rivellon has been saved, and her great green mother with her. Quite clearly, we have but one being to truly thank for this unexpected and inimitable feat, and that is you. Nevermore, I think, has the freedom you have granted us put a greater responsibility on our shoulders in turn, on each and every one of the civilized races. We must earn back the very rights to happiness your liberation entitles us to. I will remain a politician for certain, and I will continue to defend elven viewpoints valiantly. Always will they be relevant. Always will I hope you shall value them higher than you have before. Even the best is never good enough when perfection is your end goal. I foresee a bright future, Commander. Indeed I do. Yes, I may have to contend with dwarves and undead still, but that is no price to pay at all in return for the stability of peace. Thank you. May the spirits of nature guard your soul, and may their wisdom be your constant companion.
Commander, the Seven have truly favored us all. Heathens wither in the throes of death as we tread by them victoriously. Glory be unto the gods. No mortal can, of course, truly mimic their magnificence, but the harder we try, the more we may find favor in their stern, just eyes. I'm afraid what favor you have found does not quite live up to the expectations I had, but I'm contented in the knowledge that times of peace may just bring the faithful new challenges which we may overcome together. For peace, as you will be aware, so frightfully easily leads to vice. Besides, the Empire is but new. So many who stray have yet to be subjugated. Whatever your merits, Commander, much more can be done. Yes, indeed. After all, so say the hallowed 7 scriptures. The world shall never be perfect until all that stirs is bone.
Ha ha! You did it, Commander! We won! Do you realize what this means? We can go home, live lives of peace! Oh, Lord, I'm gonna be bored all day, aren't I? Oh, but I guess I shouldn't be so selfish. So many people have looked forward to this moment. So many soldiers long to go back to their sweethearts. Let this be a day of love! And if soon I fancy a brawl, I'll trip an orc in a tavern and say the sight of his spotty green arse made my foot twitch. That should get the party started.
Well then, Commander. Looks like it's all over. What seemed impossible only a relatively short while ago has been made a reality. Maxos was right all along. You, the dragon, were destined to redeem the realm. I'm glad I followed his advice and followed you aboard the Raven. I don't suppose I'll see another war like this in my lifetime. But even though I'm a general at heart, I suppose that is not a bad thing. Soon we will all go our separate ways, of course. But today we celebrate, and you, who else, are our guest of honor. Bravo, dragon. The world is yours.
Bulls, bulls, we've triumphed, Commander. After long last, we can say, game over, lads, the war is won. No cry rings quite so cheerily and chillingly in the ears of an old warhorse like me. Aye, for I may be a well-seasoned stallion, but I'll be damned if I'm ready to be put out to pasture. And how about you, then? Guess you've made your old man proud. His empire shattered like a stricken sheet of glass, but you've managed to puzzle it all back together. And a good job you did too. Dragons, eh? They'll get the job done. Guess you've got a couple of 100 years ahead of you. Me, a couple of dozen with any luck. That's okay though. I've pretty much accomplished what I wanted and more, thanks to a couple of gentle nudges by your hand. Perhaps Scarlet, Catherine and I can join forces now, if they be willing. Always some mischief going on in the world in need of setting right. Good then. That's settled. Now, let us drink. You didn't think I was gonna let you gallivant off without joining me in a toast, did you? Come on. Down the hatch. To us, Commander.
Ah, Commander. Everyone seems to be in a rather merry mood today, as if our final victory took them all by surprise. Oh, these short-sighted simpletons. Bless them, eh? As though any endeavor that has my backing is not bound to prevail. To be fair, though, I suppose this is indeed a day to be merry. Many gave their utmost to safeguard the Empire. Many gave even their lives. So many proud lizards. And yes, dwarves, elves, the others too. Heed well their sacrifice, Commander, for it is you they fought for. Even more, I think, than the idea that is the realm. Still, the one thing that really matters, the one thing that will be remembered is that the dragon came, saw, and conquered. But anyway, enough banter. A good sherry is what I need. They brought in some new casks only yesterday, I do believe, so I live in good hopes I may yet have a sip of sherry worthy of its name before this ship is decommissioned, and we with it.
Buggering, bonking blunderbusses, Commander. You've done it. Not that I ever quite doubted a fire-breathing beast, equipped with my nephew Grumio's jetpack, but by golly, you sure gave us a show. Imps and dragons. You know, sometimes we see eye to eye, sometimes we stamp each other's toes, and when we do, mine's smart a tad more. But that's okay. We're chums, you and I, aren't we? No doubt about it. Oh, lordy, lordy, what an occasion this is. I feel like I should say something profound, but such is not the way of imps. Please, 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 don't listen to that old goat of a Maxos and destroy all this technology. By every god that never was, these trinkets, these gadgets, these machines, they're so much fun. But they will be destroyed, won't they? Blimey, Commander. If that's not like a pigeon pooping right on your birthday cake the very moment you're about to take a great big bite.
There we bally well have it, don't we, my lord? Well, I can't believe it's over. Indeed, I don't. No more tinkering, no more hammering, no more engineering. Oh, what a sad, sad day. Bitter misery. Then again, the raven stopped singing to me long ago. The things she taught me were more precious than anything that rigid old sorcerer could come up with. Time for Grumio to pack it in. Time for my poor cousin Trinculo too. We'll have to invent new wonders all over again. Yes, that'd be good fun actually. How about I join your court, my lord? Oh, the crafty contrivances I could fashion for you and your wife. Fountains that spout wine or beer on command. Fans that wave by themselves. You can kiss those smelly orc slaves goodbye. Oh, and carriages that stay cool inside even in the summer. Oh, we'll have us a blast, my lord.
Impossible that I have been beaten. I who was so many, reduced to one. So much blood has been spilled, been lost. Not even Magia Sanguinis could tame your soul. For one such as you, I can but stand in war. Eternities of torment would I have made you suffer. And yet, in the servant I had foreseen, I find my undoer. May Maxos end me swiftly, for such shame sears my soul. It is in...
You have spoken with your companions, Commander? Are you ready to set in motion the Very well, Commander. In this end, let us find myriad new beginnings. Now dawns an age of peace. Now breaks in golden light the Pax Draconis. And so it was that after long last, Sigurd's son, the prince they had called a bastard, became Emperor of Rivellon. Peace descended upon the battle-scarred realm, and each and every war machine was duly destroyed. No longer did demonic technology hold sway, and the world became one of harmony once more. Harmony between magic and nature. As for Maxos, grateful his friend had secured his father's legacy, he knew this would be the beginning of a new age. That of Dragon Knights.